Twist Nation. Twist Nation. Talking sports with a twist, no script. Legends coming through on the guest list. TC, Minnesota, lead of the lakes, through Green Bay. That's all I gotta say. Yelling stone with the wolves, you know we don't play. We get wild every single day. We got our flaws, but we love our saints. Twist Nation, go and like our page. Twist Nation. Twist Nation. Twist Nation.
What up?
What up, Twist Nation?
Same guy, different face.
We are here. We're doing our social distancing. So we're 6 inches apart from the heads.
Some of us shape like this.
We got Tommy No Beards over here to my left and right.
Clean.
This is episode 16.
Joe Montana.
My boy Joe Montana up there of Twist, the Weekend Sports Talk. Thank you for tuning in on RTF Sports Network.
Yep.
.com. Thank you for watching on Facebook and Twitter.
Yep.
Speaking of Twitter, you can find us at Twist Sports Talk.
Yeah.
Where you can also find all of our handles as well. So
And Doge.
And part of us, Greg.
all of our
Greg. All of us.
I swear to God, he does this on purpose. So
He does. Yes, he does.
GBG just trying to get at me. I got my Doge on today, representing.
Yeah.
At CBD Twist. So I hope you guys are all out there keeping clean, washing your hands, all that kind of good stuff.
Washing your butts.
Are you guys still working?
Of course I'm still working.
Yep. Working from home.
Oh, this way. Sarah Lee, what up?
Get your bread,
Go
people.
get your bread. Go buy it. Yeah, other than that, it's been golden.
Yeah, I'm just working from home. I think I left the house twice this week.
Yeah.
So I just didn't have to. And yeah, I shaved just so I could look in the mirror and see someone else. So I was so miserable.
Oh, there you go. He got to join me today, though. He got to come out out in the real
I
world.
was on the front lines of this war on Corona.
He got to come out and stack some bread up.
He was reaching all the high areas for you.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Mama Benz.
Slinging bread with the
and
beds.
some boys on the end.
Oh,
Mama Ben.
Whatever.
Loving it. Yeah.
That's
What's Austin got to say?
un-
That's my
Unbelievable.
Minnesota mom.
Representing the Dodgers? Where?
Who is?
When?
who's representing the Dodgers?
Austin. No one is. It's Minnesota. TC, bro.
He's dodging the Corona, is what I think.
You better be
he's-
dodging the Corona, Mr. May. Get your life together.
Good.
All right.
Lord, well, we're waiting on our first interview here, so we're going to have Ben's kick it off a little.
Yeah. A little bit of headlines for you this week. I bet you can guess what it's going to be about. It's going to be about NFL free agency. So let's get you caught up. Starting with Amari Cooper has re-signed with the Cowboys on a 5-year, $100 million deal with $60 million guaranteed. Ryan Tannehill and the Titans have agreed on a 4-year, $118 million contract that includes 62 fully guaranteed. And we got our guest. So let's cut
we
over.
do. So all of our interviews are brought to you by, not by that,
There.
Bricks
Bricks.
Boatworks, your trusted local source for marine repair.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a little. Our first interviews with Caleb Truax. He's a professional boxer. He held the IBF Super Middleweight title from 2017 to 2018.
Yeah, champ.
Let's bring him in.
Caleb, what's
There he
going
is.
on, bud?
What's up, fellas?
Not much,
You know,
man.
I'm intimidated already.
You should be, man. You should be.
Yeah, there he is. So we got a champ on the show today. Welcome into Twist, man. We appreciate you coming in. I know Mike will start you off. He gave a little intro about, your past a little bit. So I'll let you go, Mike.
Well, yeah, definitely appreciate it. So I had the pleasure to win tickets through the Common Man back in 2012, November 17th. you knocked out Michael Walker at the Crown Plaza Hotel.
Oh yeah.
So that was
that was one of my better fights, man. I was just watching that with my manager probably a month ago, and I was feeling good that night, man.
That was my first ever, and I had been a fan of boxing and of you through kind of K-Fan and stuff like that. But to bring the gal and in the element there at the Crown Plaza is really kind of a sweet, intimate, type fight. So it was cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's a smaller venue. I don't know if they have fights there anymore, but I fought there twice, I believe, and kind of walked downstairs, and it's like a ballroom type atmosphere, and it's usually have pretty good crowds there. So it was a cool little spot.
That's awesome. So when did you want to become a boxer? Was it like first grade when you got in a few fights and, started knocking little kids out? And it's like, I could probably be pretty good at this.
I started late, man. I didn't start till I was like 19 or 20 years old. I was a football player and a baseball player in high school. And I went to college to play football in Virginia and ended up coming back to U of M after a knee injury just wouldn't get better. And I was never going to be an NFL player or anything like that. So came back to the U to just focus on schoolwork and my education. And I was just bored as hell, man. I wasn't playing sports anymore. I was playing flag football and working out, every day in the rec center. But that wasn't enough to fill the competitive void that I had from playing baseball and football my whole life. But just kind of fell into it. I found a ad in the city pages for a tough guy tournament, and my boy Rob Sutherland and I decided to join up and didn't really train at all, and we both got our asses kicked the first time. And, he didn't stick with it. I did, thankfully, and I fought in another tough guy tournament and won that one after actually trying to train and learn what I was doing. And then I transitioned to amateur boxing and was in amateur boxing for like 3 years and turned pro, and I've been a pro for about 12 years now.
Okay. So before we skip forward, you said that you were in football and baseball back in high school. What positions did you play back then, Caleb?
In football, I played outside linebacker and like strong safety. In baseball, I was a center fielder, right fielder.
Okay, awesome. And then obviously, did you kind of follow boxing at all growing up, or did you kind of get into it right when you started at 19?
Yeah, I was a fan of boxing my whole life. I watched all the old Tyson fights and Evander Holyfield. My favorite was Felix Trinidad in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And I was a fan of the sport, but I never knew it was available for a kid in Minnesota. And come to find out, I'm from Osseo, and my gym when I first went to it, it was in Anoka, so like 15 minutes down 169, and I had no idea that the Golden Gloves was a thing, or USA Boxing, or there was even boxing gyms in Minnesota. So got into it and then just dove in and haven't looked back since.
Awesome.
Your last fight was January 25th with a victory. How do you think it went? I know it was a little lapse for you, kind of getting some of the rust off, but you still pulled off a win.
Yeah, it was. I was a little bit rusty, and I had only fought like, I think it was 5 rounds in the last like 2 years or something like that, and I had some bad luck with injuries and cuts, and just wasn't active, and I had to shake off that rust, and the main thing I got out of it was my Achilles was healthy. I had a tear in my Achilles last March, so about a year ago, and there was. Originally, I thought I was going to have surgery, and if I would have had to have surgery, I probably would have had to retire. But thankfully, I didn't have to have surgery. I just rehabbed it, and the main thing going into that last fight was I just wanted to make sure that it was healthy and didn't hamper me in any way, and it didn't. So that was my most positive take from the fight.
So you just referenced, not fighting that much over a 2-year period. How much does your life change leading up to a fight, like 3 months before a fight? Do you go from training 3 days a week to 6, 3 hours a day to 8 hours a day? How does that change leading up to a fight?
Usually in boxing, a training camp is what we call it. It's usually about 6 to 8 weeks. And there's no off season in boxing. I'm working out all the time. I'm in the gym pretty much every day, even when I don't have a fight schedule, sometimes twice a day. But training camp is usually about 8 weeks, and that's intense, like totally focused on the guy that I'm fighting. The diet has to be good, no messing around. But usually 8 weeks, and that's, strength training 2 or 3 times a week in the morning, road work 2 or 3 times a week in the morning, and boxing gym every single day except for Sunday. So 2 days every day.
Wow. Awesome.
That Wilder Fury fight was good for the sport. Did you think it lived up to the hype?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great fight. The first fight, the ending was fantastic. It was probably one of the better 12th rounds I've ever seen. The fight leading up to that was okay, but that 12th round really set up a huge hype for the second fight, and it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I favored Tyson Fury I favored Deontay Wilder to win it, just because I thought he was progressing better since their first fight, and Fury totally dominated him. He did what he was going to said he was going to do. He walked towards him, put the pressure on him, made him fight backing up, and showed that Wilder had a lot of holes in his game as far as technique and moving backwards and fighting going backwards. But they'll be fighting again whenever this craziness clears over, and hopefully they can make it for another exciting fight and boost the level for heavyweight boxing again.
So with your management and team, what are some of the words on the street in the sport of boxing right now in regards to the coronavirus? Like, is there any movement, or is it kind of just everybody lay low and we'll figure it out when we need to figure it out, kind of relying on other sports?
It's tough, man, because, boxers, most of us aren't, wealthy athletes with multi-million-dollar contracts. There's a very, very select few at the top of the sport that, are millionaires and earn millions per fight. But for the most part, we're just working class guys. Most fighters have jobs and still are professional fighters. I had a job up until about probably the first half of my career. I had a part-time job just to supplement my income because I wasn't making enough boxing. I've been lucky enough to, over the last 6-7 years, I've been lucky enough to make enough with each fight that I can do it full time. But it's going to be really tough on fighters that are kind of like undercard fighters and not making that much money, because I think we'll see a lot of guys that have to find regular jobs and probably end up quitting boxing if it's prolonged like they think it's going to be. But right now everything's canceled or postponed through about May or June. I know I was looking to fight the end of May, start of June, and against a guy from Germany, and that's not going to happen because they're on lockdown, and who knows when people will be able to re-enter the country from Europe. And even the big like Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to take place the first week of May. That's postponed. All the biggest fights are postponed, so there's been no word on when it's going to catch back up, but we'll see, man.
Well, that German's lucky he was going to get the golden fist.
Yeah.
So how much do you think you got left in the tank here? You're healthy now. The Achilles is healed up. How long can you go for?
I'm 36 and I don't want to stick around forever because this is a young man sport. But at the same time, I've never, I've had 30, I think 30, how many fights? 38 fights. And I've never really been in any wars. I've never taken any damage really. So I'm a pretty fresh 36 years old for a guy that's got 38 fights. And I still feel like I'm 100% at the top of my game. I've always told my coaches and my team that if they start to see me decline at all, just let me know and I'll hang them up because, like I said, I don't want to stick around too long and end up getting hurt or end up not being able to speak clearly and coherently, and like some of the guys you see with that have had some brain problems and concussions and stuff like that. So I don't want to end up like that, but I still think I got a couple more years left, man. I want to stick around for a little bit longer and try to win another title. the fight with the German was supposed to be for the IBF mandatory shot, and then I was win that, and then I would get a shot at the IBF title again in November. So I want to definitely at least fight for the title one more time and win one more title, and then if I win it, maybe I'll sail off into the sunset and go fishing.
There you go.
Absolutely. Any plans for life after boxing? Are you going to stick in the sport and help train and some of the up and comers?
I wouldn't want to be a trainer as far as training professional fighters, but I'm definitely going to stick around in gyms and help kids out and amateurs and stuff like that. But my goal is to get into calling fights. I've been taking a few classes on like media training, just trying to speak more clearly and learning how to be a commentator basically. And hopefully that works out. There's not too many job opportunities available, so you got to be good at what you do. But I think I have what it takes to break into that field after I'm done.
Cool. Well, you definitely have been an excellent interview. You are a part of the Twist Nation family now, so we definitely appreciate you coming on. And obviously, closer to your fight, whenever that next fight is, we'd like to have you back on just to kind of drop some, advertising for yourself, man, because we're fans and we're followers. So we really appreciate you, man.
Cool. I appreciate you having me, man. Hit me up when you see the next fight's up.
Cool. Sounds good, Caleb. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks. Awesome.
Caleb Truax.
Champ.
38
is here.
38 fights, 31 wins, 4 losses, 2 draws, and a no contest.
Beast.
So our next interview, brought to you by Bricks Boatworks,
Bricks,
is Joe Pisapaya. He's an author of the #1 best-selling fantasy black book series and creator of the revolutionary player evaluation tool, Relative Positive Position Value.
The guru of fantasy.
Yes, he's also a TV host on Sports Grid. So let's bring him in.
Joe, what's going on, Joe?
Well, I appreciate the incredible effort to both say my name and get RPV correct. You failed on both. How do we start like that? I'm just kidding, guys. It's good to talk to you anyway. It's Pisa Pia, again, like the leaning tower, but that's all right. And it's relative position value. And I'm happy to be talking to you guys. You seem like you're having a good time, and we've got nothing else to do but talk sports. So let's do it.
Awesome. Mike, kick it.
So again, you're the author of the #1 best-selling, 13-time, I believe, best-selling fantasy black book series. For some of our viewers and listeners, can you explain what that book's all about?
Sure. Well, look, there's a lot of stuff out there in the fantasy sports space. We all know that. And it's very difficult nowadays to get yourself separated from the horde. It's very difficult. Everyone's spoon-fed all this information. It's right there on the host sites. So the Black Book is giving you something different, which is relative position value, which is, you see everybody's got their rankings every year, and I like this guy more than that guy, and people even have tiers, but what does all that mean? That's good informed opinion most of the time, but that's not enough. And what RPV does is it shows you just how much of a drop-off there is from player to player, where the fantasy league average at that position is, and how to craft a strategy to approach the draft, to approach managing your players all season through all of that. And we've got some of the best minds in fantasy who write for the book. And really what that does is it shows you not just like where opinion is, but actually factually based in reality, how much better a player is than another one at that position and in that specific format. It's a very league-specific format, whether it be for the baseball book, the football book. We've got NBA book coming out this year, hopefully, and we've got hockey in year 2 also. So really, RPV has been a huge game changer for a lot of people. And again, people seem to like it, keep coming back, so we must be doing something right.
Yeah, no doubt, man. When Mike told me that you were going to be on the show, I was pumped. And they're all like, how do you know who this dude is? And I'm like, he's the guru of fantasy sports, man. So I'm going to dive right into some fantasy football questions for this upcoming year.
He needs your help.
I know.
As do I.
Mike here has, rigged the competition. He's got 2 rings. It's no big deal. We let him hype up. He needs it for his ego.
Oh, whatever.
So anyways, first things first, pre-draft, we're going to go 2 sleepers for the upcoming season after the initial free agency moves? A little bit of leg, but we'll get there.
He didn't like your question.
Joe, what we're going to do is we're going to
well, it's funny because this has been a really, really interesting offseason. So you're looking at a lot of players, a lot of movement in quarterbacks too, which you don't see as often in the league. We've had stability back the last 10 years for the most part with a lot of these guys just, the dudes we're used to seeing.
Joe, we're going to call you. Put you on
so in
we can get a connection, okay?
of how that's going to impact a
beautiful.
All right, let's just give him a ring here.
I need this information bad. I need it all, man. So we'll get Joe on the line. It'll work out like that.
Improvise.
Improvise is right.
You got me.
Hey, there he is.
We had a bad feed, so we figured we'd just call and get you this way because these two need these answers for next season.
Yeah, you got it, man. No big deal. Do you want me to try to reset and hardwire in? See if that helps.
Sure. If you want, if you've got the time, we can take this other interview really quick, and then we'll come right back to you if that works for you, Joe.
Yeah, as long as I'm out before 2 o'clock because I got that other call.
Oh, yeah.
Let me try to see if I can hardwire that, and I'll dial back in and see if we can restart.
All right,
Perfect. Sounds good, Joe. Cool. Thank you.
You got it, man.
Perfect.
Look at this.
All right. Well,
We're
luckily,
improvising, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So our other guest who's ready to go and queued up, and hopefully the internet is working well, and hopefully I don't botch his name like our last one, is Chris Lamberis.
Yeah.
He's an NFL PA and CFL PA certified player agent with over 18 years of experience as a player, coach, scout, and sports management advisor. Let's bring Chris on.
Chris, how are you, brother?
Good. How you doing? Not too bad on the name, but feel bad you guys got an Italian and a Greek, so
yeah, no doubt. It is tough. He takes it really personally too when he can't pronounce names,
do.
Right? So, we'll just call you the Canadian. How does that sound?
That's good. I'll try not to have too bad of an accent for you guys today.
That's all right. We're Minnesotans. Well, both of us are. He's a Wisconsinite, but we're from the north, so it's all right, man. So how are you today?
I'm good. I'm on day 7 of isolation, so it's going as good as it can with 2 little ones running around the house. So
yeah, and then you got reached out by this small podcast from Minnesota, and you're like, "Yep, we'll do it." What is it? Don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I don't know what's going on, but to have a world champion boxer and then a bestseller, and then you bring a little small guy from Saskatchewan, Canada on the show. I'm like, maybe times are tough, but here I am.
Oh man,
no, we
awesome.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, obviously the NFL is one of the sports that is actually doing some stuff right now. Do you have any clients that you're helping with free agency? Do you have a ton of clients? Can you play some kind of in any league? Is it just NFL? Is it just XFL? Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely got my start in Canada, obviously being it's our backyard. So I got a lot of guys in the CFL currently. And then I just got certified actually last year. So just starting out brand new in the agent game in the NFL. I had 3 guys actually last season that went through camp. So they went through rookie vet camp. All 3 got cut. So just back at it again this year. But had 3 defensive backs, one at Steelers camp, one at the Ravens, and I had one with the 49ers who actually made it through the last exhibition game versus the Chargers, but unfortunately he got waived. So now it's on to the next round of guys. So actually kind of funny being a small town guy. It was really tough to go after the big name guys that are going to the combine, and these big firms are obviously spending a ton of money on these guys. So most of it, I go after the undrafted guys, right, and just really push to get them into rookie camps, and then from there they just got to ball out and make it to vet cap, hopefully get signed to the 90 man, and then have a good exhibition game, and from there, you hope they get signed or injuries or something, plays into it.
And that's the big thing, like you said, it's just that grind, not everybody can be those big firm agencies, the guys that are the undrafted guys. And that puts into perspective too, how hard it is to become an NFL athlete. It's crazy. The talent that you need to have and the drive you need to have to get into the league. I know that you can say it's a daily grind to get these guys their dreams. So.
Yeah, it is. It is tough. Right now is really tough, for kind of my, I guess you want to say, business model is going after these small school guys, the guys that aren't from Bama, Clemson. I mean, those are obvious, right? They'll get drafted or they'll get looks if they don't get drafted. But now that everything's on lockdown, NFL teams aren't doing workouts. They're not bringing in guys to get a look. And that's where a lot of those, not big name guys get opportunity to go in front of a scout, work out and impress. And okay, we'll bring you to camp. But now that you don't have that, you're just relying on, Div 2 or smaller Div 1, film. The competition's not good. They're not matched up against good ballers. So it's going to be challenging for those guys. And I mean, if you're a Burrow, I mean, honestly, like not to take a shot at their agency, but I mean, anybody can represent him going into this draft, right? There's not much you need to do. So I actually give a lot of respect to the agents that are going after late round picks or have the undrafted guys, because you really got to sell your guy to teams.
Yeah. So I did see pictures of you on social media at the NFL scouting combine.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing there? Are you trying to sign players?
Yeah, no, that'd be a little greasy to go after guys at the combine. Yeah, no, we have our mandatory agent meetings there. So every year we have to go to our player association meetings. They just update us, especially this year, right? With the new CBA, and there's a lot of information going on about that. So they just decide to have it at the combine, just convenience. Everybody's there anyway. So really it's just one day, but being it is the combine, you can to hang around and take in some of the events. They honestly want us not to be around the players, especially if you don't have a guy, because then again, right, they don't want people going after other players and trying to steal guys. So really just in there for one day of meetings, and then you just get out.
So you were talking earlier about the CBA, the new CBA that's out. Do you get that directly from the NFL, where they expect you to read it, digest it, and then translate it for whoever your guy is? So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing about the language too, right? It is just making sure that, I mean, it is a business, right? It's no different than if you're buying a house, right? You got a seller and a buyer on each end, and they're trying to make the best deal on either end, and understanding what a player is able to get for perks, or maybe some things you can add into the contract that maybe don't count towards the salary cap, or just having that ability to bargain. So I guess long story short is they do actually test us on it too. So they said with this new CBA, they're probably going to come out with just a quick 20-30 question thing that we got to write and pass. And if you don't pass and you lose your certification, not too worried about it, but that just makes sure that, hey, you're actually reading the CBA, understand what's changed and some of the rules. But it's really good. We do have the player association. Like, we represent the players. The player association represent the players. So they have our back, right? Like, if there was something I didn't understand, I can just call the player association and say, hey, look, I'm going to sign this contract. Can you take a look at it? And they'll look at it. They're all lawyers. They've been in the game. They see every contract that goes through. So they see the big ones from Tom Brady all the way down to the last guy on the team. So they're a really good source too if we need help.
One thing that I thought was cool about you is you're not just, an agent, you're an active wealth advisor and investment manager. So I would guess in your pitch, and that'll lead into my question as well, you're helping set these guys up for the future, especially undrafted players. I know with the new CBA, I think the minimum contract's going to be $1 million. So it's bumping that money up a little bit. But a lot of these players, unless they're a Raheem Mostert and really shine, need to be very smart with their money, and that's where you can help them out with.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what you have to do now. I think if you just try and go after a player just to say, hey, I'm going to get you more money in a contract, you got to do so much more. Obviously, for big name players, the marketing endorsement's a big piece, right? Can you find other income streams for these guys and leverage their name? Obviously, Mahomes, right, is getting a lot of those deals. You think of like the Pert Plus, always laugh with the shampoo commercial. You see the guys on. So anything an agent can get a player extra dollars is good. But, you know, for those guys that are maybe just come in the league and play 5 games and then get cut, right? It's important that you provide that financial advice to set them up for the future. I mean, we all know, right? All these athletes, the rate that they're going bankrupt is insanely high, and providing that money management and just that transition, you know, it was just funny. I was watching the show earlier, so you know, when the champ was on there talking about transitioning after the game, what are you going to do? So it's just being, you know, a resource for them to use. You know, is it employment? Can you help them get a job? Especially for guys that are only in the league a couple of years, they're not going to be able to retire off that money. So it's providing career counseling, it's providing financial advice, and just you don't want to say being a counselor, but in a sense, it's just that go-to person you can be for them if they have any questions about anything. But the money thing is a big selling point for me. That's where I actually got the start before I went into the agency world. Where we're from, right? We got a ton of great hockey players, so I had the opportunity to grow a clientele base managing hockey players' money, and from there kind of led into another thing. But yeah, players are down with their money. Yeah. I can tell you a lot of bad stories. Won't name drop, but I've had a past client call me from an airport and ask me to pay for his luggage fees.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, how do you not even have $40 to pay?
Yeah.
So it's amazing how these guys will burn through their checks. One thing that the league is doing, so to give, I guess, for example, is they're going to look at going to biweekly or weekly payments. So instead of doing just the game check cut up over 1/17th, they're looking at saying, do we go to 30 plus weeks or we just go to weekly? So at least if they're bad with their money and blow all their game checks during the season, they still get cash flow coming in.
Sure. That makes complete sense. Yeah, I agree with that.
I would need that for sure. No matter what it is. I'm horrible with it. So I'm a high profile player. I'm the top rated quarterback in the nation. Why do I sign with you and not Drew Rosenhaus?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question. The biggest thing is I take on a limited amount of players. So just giving that personal attention. You know, one thing that I try and do when I tack players at big firms, it's like, especially during free agency, if the big top guy is 10 guys during free agency, whose phone call is he picking up first? Right? So if you got 3 top guys that are all hounding you, okay, what's going on? What teams did you talk to? Well, who gets priority? Yep. So that's a big thing. You know, I'm not going to lie. Like, obviously, he's awesome. He's a great agent. You can't say anything bad about him. So maybe that's a bad example. Maybe if you were, you know, a middle-class player, you know, why are you going to go with a big agent? Because obviously they're going to go after and take care of their top guys first. And then you might be the plan B or the plan C client. So you're not going to get that love and attention. And just that personal relationship. Again, I really try and give a lot of help, and just my phone's on my nightstand. It's on 24/7, right? I'm there for the good times, but big pitches, I'm there for the bad times too. If you get injured, you get cut, or you don't perform any good, and your next contract's not worth a lot of money, it's amazing how these big agents, it's dollars and cents. Yep. They love you when you're worth a lot of money, but if you don't perform well and you don't get a big contract, it's amazing how much they disservice the players after that. And I get a lot of players that hit me up saying, you know, they were with big agents, didn't get drafted as high as around, and then obviously that dollar and cents to the firm is not there. They got to go after the next big draft guy. So it's really just making sure that I'm there for the bad times too.
So,
Awesome.
So pretty much. So in case our listeners don't understand, we are literally talking to the real life Jerry Maguire.
I was going to say, are you the Jerry Maguire?
Yeah, there he is.
No.
The money.
It's so funny how many of my friends tell me that. They'll like call and they'll answer the phone. We show me the money, and it's like, okay, yeah, no, definitely not. Maybe in 5 years, you guys can bring me back on the show if I got the number 1 draft pick coming right now. But I think it's going to be a slow, progressive improvement every year if I can just get, you know, one guy on the roster, and then, you know, referrals is really big in the industry. So you get one guy in the locker room who talks to another buddy, and you just slowly kind of go from there. But like you said, thankfully for me, it's just a passion of mine. I really am truly, genuinely after to help the players in their best interest. So I have a really good, you know, wealth practice. I don't have to worry about, you know, if a guy doesn't make it, I don't have that pressure for guys to make it, and then I don't get a good paycheck from it. So, but hopefully that's the plan, right? So give me a couple of years.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You mentioned dealing with hockey. Is that just on the investment side for the other sports? Are you only certified NFLPA and CFLPA, or are you an agent for other sports as well?
Yeah, our firm is primarily hockey. So they're based out of Calgary, Alberta. We have a lot of junior guys. So our firm has been around for a while, but still, compared to other firms, is still in its infancy stage. So we have a lot of junior hockey guys that'll be coming through the drafts in the next, so many years now. So we do both. I'm not NHL certified. I've thought about it, but I just want to make sure that I get a foundation built on the football side before I venture and take on another one. But I do have some junior hockey guys that I represent. So obviously if they get into the draft, then I would go and probably get certified. But for now, just football and go from there.
Awesome, man.
Well, that's great. That's all I got for you.
That's all we got.
I wish
man.
we could talk for like 3 hours. That way you could get out of the spot that you're hidden in and not have to deal with those crazy kids.
All I know is if I ever have financial questions, I'm calling you up, man.
No kidding.
Yeah, hit me up. Hit me up.
No doubt. But I mean, you're very personal, dude, and I can see why guys in the future are going to gravitate towards you because of how personable you are and how much you can create that quick friendship with somebody, and you just come off trustworthy. So you're a part of Twist Nation now. So if we ever have, if you ever have some things going on in your life, some big things, hit us up, man. Get on the show. But also if we have questions for you, we'll reach out as well, man. We'd love to have you back on.
For sure. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, take care. Have a good day.
All right. You too.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Awesome. All right.
2.5 down.
Well,
Give me Joe.
I see Joe down there.
Where's
Let's
Joe?
bring him in and hope it works.
Joe,
Are we better now?
A lot better. So far, so good, man. I mean,
Excellent.
There's a little bit of a lag there. So if there is a little bit of, silence between questions, that's okay, man. You're still Joe, so it's all good. So my question.
Still Joe, forever Joe.
Exactly. So 2 sleepers. Let's go back to that question. Give me some advice here.
All right. Well, the first thing to understand is this free agency has been crazy because we haven't seen this kind of quarterback movement in a very long time. And that's going to impact a ton of offenses. And we haven't even seen the rest of it yet because we still have the draft ahead of us. So it's a really difficult question at this time because we're still kind of figuring out how rosters are going to be structured and how guys are going to adjust to those new systems with the quarterbacks. But I think in the early going, I'm going to stick with a guy that I think is still being undervalued, believe it or not, despite his good run in the playoffs. It was a player on my podcast that I talked about a ton last year, and he got hurt, and then people kind of forgot about him or dropped him, and it's Deebo Samuel. That's the first one because Samuel really fits what they want to do. I understand that Emmanuel Sanders is gone now from that offense, but at the same time, Emmanuel Sanders really didn't do much. He came to the team. He was good for 2 games. He got hurt, and then he really kind of wasn't the same player the rest of the season. So I think Deebo is going to really have a spectacular full season as long as he's healthy with that team. I think he could certainly be a wide receiver 2, but I think he's going to be drafted continuously as a 3 or maybe even a 4 in really shallow leagues, which I think is crazy. And the other guy is Miles Sanders, who, for all the frustration that Doug Peterson gives us, and believe me, he gives us a ton of frustration. I think when you look at Sanders and the way he finished last year, a lot of people don't realize he was a top 5 PPR running back in the second half last year. It happened kind of quietly, but really he was one of these guys that led a lot of teams to championships. And if you took a shot on him or a guy like Devin Singletary in the second half when he got healthy as well, those are 2 running backs that I think could really have a big impact. I really like what the Bills have done this offseason. I don't know if Josh Allen's ready to make that next step in terms of pocket passer. He's still more raw talent than he is great passer at this stage in his career. That can certainly change. But I think the one thing that's not going to change is the Bills' commitment to running the football. So I'm going to give you a third one with Singletary, put him in there with Sanders and Deebo Samuel. And those are 3 guys that I think are going to be really good ROIs in 2020 drafts.
All right. My next question is I saw your post on Twitter about Stidham and how you talked about, how you feel the Pats may move forward with just him, And can you elaborate a little bit on that? I know you talked about cap and things like that. So,
well, look, the Patriots aren't nearly as cap friendly as a lot of other teams out there in the NFL. So they really don't have a whole lot there to work with at this time. Now, with Brady going, that certainly changes things considerably. But at the same time, it would not shock me. You see, what's going on here is there's basically realistically more guys than there is spots. So the Patriots are trying to bring in one of these guys at a really undercut rate for a 1-year deal. If they work out, they could franchise him the next year. I don't see Cam Newton and Bill Belichick being in the same room together, so I don't think that's one. So anyone would take that and throw it out because that ain't never going to happen. Andy Dalton would be the boring one, but at the same time, if you're going to go the boring route, why not just play Stidham, see what you have out of him? It's not like he didn't play at a big-time school. I mean, Auburn's a big-time school, for God's sakes, and he had some success there. And if he's comfortable with the system and the verbiage of what's going on, that might be an easier short-term transition. I think the one guy, if you are going to take a chance on because of his age, because of the arm, because of the upside, is Jameis Winston. And a lot of people like myself, who I love Bruce Arians, my favorite coach in the NFL besides Belichick, obviously. He and I are very simpatico in terms of hairstyle, Bruce Arians and I. But both of us, what we're trying to do is get the most out of Jameis Winston. And unfortunately, Arians didn't get that last year. So maybe, just maybe, we don't need the positive guy. Maybe you do need the disciplinarian. Maybe the guy who might get the most out of Winston is the guy who is probably the most difficult guy to deal with in the NFL, and that's Belichick. And you know what? He's turned around guys who have had crazier personalities than Winston before into really productive players. Now, if he comes at a discount, I could see Winston being there. But right now, it doesn't look like, I mean, maybe they can trade up because they have a bunch of picks. They do have 12 picks, I think, this year in the draft so far. So they could move up to take a guy. Maybe it's a Jordan Love. Maybe it's a Herbert. I don't know. But at the same time, it wouldn't shock me for them to just say, let's go with Stidham for this year, come back next year with even more draft picks, or maybe sell things off and maybe go all the way up. And I know people are going to hate this, but if they have enough draft picks and can move up next year to take Lawrence, wouldn't that just be the worst thing for every other team in the NFL?
God, I just puked a little.
I know. I understand, but it's a reality we have to sort of come around with because nobody understands the structure of this league better than Belichick and that staff specifically.
Would the Pats fans be able to deal with the crappy season?
That's the tough thing. It's, right now you're looking at that division, and I think it would be hard pressed for anybody, even a Pats fan, and I am one of them, to be honest with you. I'm the Pats fan everybody hates because I'm the logical one who recognizes that I'm a spoiled brat in all of this, and I've been through all of this. And 2 years ago, they had a choice. They could have moved on from Brady with Garoppolo, or they could have said, you know what, we'll move on with Garoppolo, take one more shot at getting a title, and it worked. They got that other title. This was not shocking to me at all. I had a good feeling that this was going to be last year Brady anyway going into the season, the way things were structured, because it seemed like everybody just kind of wanted to turn the page. Brady wanted to go do something new, have a little bit of fun towards the end. And Belichick, look, whether it's Richard Seymour, whether it's Vinatieri, whether it's Vrabel, whether it's Deion Branch, I mean, you can go on and on and on with all the guys that the Pats have moved on from before it got messy. And I think when you're looking at that, yeah, I think Pats fans would be willing to be bad for a year. Buffalo is the class of that division this year. There's no way around that when you look at the kind of defense they have in the secondary, their ability to run the football. So there's a lot there that they have. But at the same time, I think realistically speaking, in this league, it's all about having the quarterback. So if they can do something to get that quarterback, they will do it. And it wouldn't shock me to see them get creative and find a way to get Tua, because I think that's the guy that if they had their druthers, they would like to get their hands on. And it's a unique situation because he is coming off an injury. How much does that scare other teams away into a place where maybe, just maybe, he could move up? And now with Cam and Winston on the free agent market, maybe some teams don't want to take a young quarterback. They might go with a Cam Newton or somebody else like that and see if they could get those guys right, because they've proven to a certain extent that at least they can play in the league.
I'm going to transition after one question. I hate to keep talking about the Patriots, but from a fantasy aspect, their defense was insane, probably historically good last year. So it's not like just losing Tom Brady, who was kind of an average quarterback last year anyway, could be a complete drop-off for them. If they were to secure a free agent or go with Stidham or get a Tua, I don't think they just fall off the map. Do you agree with that?
I don't either. I mean, I think if they did go with Stidham, the first thing they would do is try to bring in some more help at the running back position, which I know sounds a little crazy because they got some guys out there already. They already have James White and they still have Sony Michel on that roster. But if they decided to really make some more moves here and get a little splashy and bring in a Devonta Freeman, who I know struggled at times last year, but at the same time, this guy can catch the football. And that's what the Pats like to do. They like that short interim passing route. To me, the best thing to do would just be scrap it all. Move on from Edelman, move on from everybody. Not be bad for a year, but come back to earth, shed the guys that aren't going to help you win in the next 3 years, acquire more draft picks, go get your quarterback and move forward. I think Jordan Love is a project worth looking at because when you watch the film on him, I understand the stats were bad last year. 2 years ago, the stats were very good. I think he's got a lot of raw ability. If he could sit for a couple of years, that might work. And he might be a value in the draft that they could actually go after in the late first round. But in terms of the rest of the league right now, I think the NFC is really wide open because now that Brady's over there with Tampa, you know that team's going to score and, more importantly, be more efficient with the football. When you throw 30 picks, I don't care how good your run defense is or anything else, you're going to be working at a deficit. And Winston is a guy, when you throw 30 picks, is going to put everything backwards for that team. So now Tampa's in that wild card mix. You see the New Orleans Saints add a guy like Emmanuel Sanders. They're going to be in there. We already know the 49ers are going to be good. Seattle's going to be good. NFC is going to be very competitive. AFC is wide open. You don't have to have the best roster necessarily to go out there and be a competitive team and challenge for a wild card.
Yeah, you mentioned Buffalo a few times, and obviously our team,
Yeah.
traded away Stephon Diggs, but they got a pretty little penny for that. I mean,
they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you move DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of balls and you get a first round pick for Stephon Diggs. I don't know. I thought that was a fake meme. I thought people were bored at home with coronavirus stuff going on, and somebody put that Hopkins thing up there, and I was like, oh, that's not true. There's no way that happened for that much. And then it was. It was shocking. The Vikings are an interesting team right now because Dalvin Cook is probably, him and Joe Mixon are the number one potential holdouts going into this year looking for new contracts. And I think at this point in time, in my opinion, it would be smarter, as great as Dalvin Cook is, to try to go in here not with an extension for him. You have a lot of money tied up in Cousins. You have a lot of money tied up in some good defensive players. Cutting Xavier Rhodes was the right thing to do. He was not the same player. I'm sure you guys would agree if you're Vikings fans. That was the right call there. Go into the draft, go get another cornerback, a younger guy. But I think you can get by with Madison. I really think you do. And I think tying money up long-term into Dalvin Cook, based on the system they're running, you've seen Latavius Murray, you've seen Jerick McKinnon, you've seen a lot of guys be very successful in the system when Cook wasn't there. And you saw Madison do it at times last year too. Me personally, I think it's the wrong thing to do to tie up too much money in Cook. So I would be careful with that. But I do think fantasy owners need to understand that there's a good chance that he is a holdout because I don't see them necessarily going that route and overpaying for Cook, who, let's face it, he's had more time not on the field than on the field. I know on the field's been great, but at the same time, what's the risk reward of that kind of a contract?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't think they're going the route unless he's okay with signing an Austin Eckler type deal. We're not going to back up the Brinks truck and give you Zeke money when you can't stay on the field. And Madison did show us last year that he could start. If we draft maybe a 6th-round running back, we do have Mike Boone, who does play very well when he gets some time. So I don't think they're going to pay him money as much as I love Cook. I'm an FSU guy, so I was ecstatic when they were able to get him in the 2nd round.
Me too, man. I was a big Cook fan. I thought Cook was a tremendous get for them. And if they could get him for somewhere in between Eckler and Zeke money, that I would consider, because then again, you could flip Madison as an asset or something like that, bring in some draft picks, figure that out. The cap is an interesting beast. And, that's why what the Pats have done for the last 20 years is staggering, because they never paid anybody for what they did. They're only paying people for what they could do in the next year or the next 2 years from now. And that's difficult for the fan base to understand or to take in. Well, why are we moving our best linebacker? Why are we losing our best rusher? Why are we losing our best weapon here? It's what they do, and it's why they've stayed ahead of the game. And other teams just don't seem to be able to do that sometimes, and it's really to their detriment.
Unless someone comes along in the draft, is Christian McCaffrey, as of the current roster right now, the last guy that's going to get a really big Zeke-like contract?
Probably. And I think what they just did by moving on with Cam allows that to happen. And I think you're probably going to see that. Those guys were all in the same class. That was quite a class when you look back at the CMC, Dalvin Cook class of running backs, Joe Mixon in that class too. Phenomenal class to be very excited about. I think McCaffrey is going to get paid. He is that offense right now. I really like the Teddy Bridgewater signing for that team. I think Bridgewater showed you he can be a competitive quarterback in the NFL. You might not win a whole lot of games from Teddy Bridgewater, but I don't think he's going to cost you a lot of games. And I think that is equally important. Their biggest problem right now in Carolina is filling that void of Luke Kuechly being gone, not just from a leadership standpoint, but I think also from a defensive standpoint, and I think you'll see them in the first round go out there and take whoever the best linebacker is on the board and fill that void, because that is a huge loss for them. I know he's missed a lot of time recent years too, but at the same time, that's a presence you have to take care of. But I think moving on from Cam is good. New head coach is good. I think they're doing some good things in there. And DJ Moore, one of my favorite guys last year in the Fantasy Black Book 2019, and he had himself a hell of a season with Kyle Allen. If he can have that season with Kyle Allen, my God, imagine some sort of competent quarterback like a Teddy Bridgewater in there. I think it'll be a good year for him as well.
Who will be the Dolphins of this season?
Oh, you mean the team that's really bad and all of a sudden gets competitive and costs people a lot of money? You mean that?
Stay away from them in fantasy.
Right now, that's a good question. As crazy as it seems, the Dolphins at least gave us Devontae Parker.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One year thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, I think that it could be the Dolphins again, though, because Jordan Howard's not an asset I'm super excited about. He's not exactly a guy that I look at and I get, oh, yay, hooray. But I think the Redskins right now, you look at them, it's hard to find a fantasy asset. I know Terry McLaurin has some talent. He showed you the goods last year a little bit. I don't know which way they want to go at quarterback. Now, there's some people that have tied Cam Newton there with Ron Rivera. I don't know if Ron Rivera wants to do that again. It's a lot of headaches. I know there's upside. I don't think they like Haskins, or at least Rivera's crew doesn't seem to like Haskins as much. But I think the Redskins are a team you look at. You just can't make a fantasy investment in the backfield. Geis has burned you too much, and Peterson's too old. So really, they are a team right now that's kind of bereft of fantasy assets right now.
Yep.
Very true. So the Vikes did acquire another first-round pick. So right now we're sitting at 22 and 25. We obviously have a ton of needs. Do you think they hold pat and, get a Trayvon Diggs at 22 or 25 and maybe an offensive lineman, or do they try to bundle that up and move forward?
I think they're a team that might actually move backward. I think when the quarterback class, depending on how things shake out in their first 10, 12 picks or so, which I think we kind of have an idea, but you never know. We're still a couple weeks away from some of that movement that happens. I think the best thing for them to do might be to move back out and then take a corner. I think corner is one spot where if you're the Vikings, you got to solidify that, because you saw them, have really strong games, and then they would get burned on that one play by Rhodes. And that's something you can't have happen. So I think if you look at the depth this year's draft, I think the corner, wide receiver is terrific. Running back's very good. I think the cornerback class is pretty good as well. If they can get somebody they like there, they'll take him. If not, I think they move one of those picks and move back a little bit and acquire some more, get some more depth. Because I think when you're the Vikings too, you look at it, you've got some age on other spots of that defense too. You want to solidify the depth, because now that you're going eventually to that 17-game season too, the teams that have depth are going to be teams that are very dangerous. And, it's only one more game. It sounds easy in theory, but it's not. It's a whole other game. And then you're talking about a whole other round of potential playoffs in there as well. So I think the Vikings are a team that, when you think about it and realize Kirk Cousins is the highest paid player in the NFL over the last 5 years, and you sit back and realize that, it's pretty stunning. I think we should all have Kirk Cousins' agent when all said and done. Don't you think?
Yeah. So as a Packer fan, my biggest need is –
This is amazing. You guys get together in the same room and do a show? This is great.
It's fun.
Keep your distance.
Go ahead, Greg.
My biggest need is tight end. Where do we
Yeah.
get? Do we get up there first round, or do we wait for Moss?
Don't you say it. If you take Moss, I'm mooning you.
Well, look, that's the one guy. Outside of that, it's not a great tight end class. And it's funny because you looked at it, Hunter Henry got franchised right away. And then Hooper went to the Browns, which I thought was a little wacky. If Njoku's flying around, I think that's a player that I would want to try to get my hands on. Because I think now that Hooper is there in Cleveland, I think Njoku's kind of an odd man out. I would rather go out and get a guy like that. I think he is a very smart player. The Packer offense historically has not really made the most of the tight end, but it's very difficult because every wide receiver they seem to have taken in the draft just has not worked out for them. And that's been very frustrating because we're used to having those guys where you had Adams and you had Jordy Nelson. You had more than one viable option on that team. They've changed their identity. They run the football a lot more, which I think is the way to win at this stage of Aaron Rodgers' career. But if I was going to put a tight end on that team, I think Njoku would be the guy I'd go after, not necessarily a guy in the draft, just because I don't think number one, I don't trust their scouting because they haven't done a good job so far. And number two, I just think you'd rather get a guy like that who has a ton of ability, has a ton of upside, smart guy, smart player, just doesn't really fit in what Cleveland was trying to do for whatever reason. God knows what that is. But at the same time, I think Njoku would be the guy I'd go after if I was them.
Cool.
So I know you got a conference call coming up, and I appreciate you reconnecting. And this has been great.
Awesome.
You know, if and when NFL comes back on, we'd love to have you once we gear up for fantasy. I know these two chumps would.
They're
trying to get
Yeah, anytime, boys. I am here for all things fantasy, and I appreciate you guys having me on for the first time here. And now we're all friends, and anytime that you get, two Vikings fans and a Packers fan and a Patriots fan all together in one spot, it's a beautiful thing. So, anytime you want to talk football or baseball or anything, I'll be around, and I appreciate the time, fellas.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Take care.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
What a plug.
Oh.
Dude, we've got the plug now. I need his number, though.
Yeah, I know.
That's something
I
will
want
need.
him to be.
No,
You should not have the number.
Can't do it
Why? That's cheating.
because I
Anyways,
scheduled them.
I want
all
him
right.
on the phone with me when we're drafting.
I'll tweet at him. I'll
Yeah.
get at you, Joe.
Yeah.
Just respond.
I don't want him to tweet. I want him to. We'll get him in.
Oh, yeah, we'll figure it. You don't need him, Greg.
Well, that was great. So let's get back to the headlines.
Woo! Man. All right. Let's get going. So we got Byron Jones and the Dolphins agree to a 5-year, $82 million contract. That includes $54.5 million guaranteed. Tom Brady. You heard the news, right? Tom Brady signed
Where?
with the Bucks.
Wow.
Tampa Bay.
Get the buck out.
TB to TB.
Holy cow. A deal that will pay the quarterback roughly $30 million per year.
Yikes.
That's a 2-year deal. Jack Conklin and the Browns have agreed to a 3-year, $42 million contract. That includes $30 million guaranteed. Let's stick with the Browns. And they got Hooper. Yeah, Greg, that's unfortunate.
I wanted him in Green Bay.
4-year, $42 million contract, $23 million fully guaranteed. Then you also have some Viking news. So let's go.
Let's get
Dan
it.
Bailey agreed on terms to the new deal with the team. CJ Ham re-signed with the Vikings, 4-year, $12.25 million contract. Anthony Harris, we tagged him, popped a tag on him. Michael Pierce, defensive tackle, agreed to terms with the
Huge
Vikings
signing.
on a 3-year deal with the max value of $28 million. Younger Linval for less money. We appreciate you. And he's better, supposedly. And then, of course, the free agent signing of the year. Greg, congratulations. Let's give Greg and the Green Bay Packers a round of applause. They got the tight end they wanted. Mercedes Lewis, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Congrats, Greg.
He was just asking about tight ends. You got one.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
$2.25 million they're giving their Mercedes. So you got your own Benz there, buddy.
Yep.
Congrats.
We got our Benz now.
Yeah.
You got yours.
Wow. Yeah, congrats.
Why do you think I asked for a tight end?
Last season, he tallied 15 receptions with 156 yards and 1 tutty.
Wow.
So you got yourselves a juice man.
Yeah,
That's no big deal, Greg. We appreciate your commentary. And we will go on. That is your headlines for the week.
Wow. Big signing.
Big sign. Make moves like that. I wish the Vikes would make a couple moves like
Woo.
that.
How'd you guys end up? We were 13-3.
How many playoff games you win this year?
We didn't have to play one of them.
Well, that's
bye.
all that matters.
All right, fellas, let's get learned here.
Oh, this is bad.
Today in history,
Go ahead.
1917, Loretta Walsh becomes U.S. Navy's first female petty officer.
Yep.
She
Good for
was petty. 1935, Persia is officially renamed Iran. 1943, assassination attempt on Adolf Hitler fails. Ugh.
Too bad.
1946, Kenny Washington signs with the Rams. First black NFLer since 1933. In 1953, NBA record 106 fouls and 12 players foul out in the Boston-Syracuse game. Wow. 1961, Art Modell purchases the Cleveland Browns for a then record $3,925,000. 1963, Alcatraz prison in San Francisco Bay is closed. 1964. Greg's prom song, Beatles single She Loves You, goes number 1 in the U.S. and stays number 1 for 2 weeks. That's where he met his ex-wife. 1965. Martin Luther King Jr. begins march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama. 1968. The Royals chosen as the name of the new Kansas City American League franchise. 1970, first San Diego Comic-Con International opens at the Grant Hotel. 1985, All Day AP was born. 1986, Pittsburgh Associates buy Pittsburgh Pirates for $218 million. Say that 6 times fast. In 2000, Benz's favorite CD, NSYNC, releases their 4th studio album, No Strings Attached.
Had it.
2019, Amelia Clark, the Dragon Queen, reveals she suffered 2 brain aneurysms while filming Game of Thrones.
And 2020, Kenny the Gambler Rogers passes on.
Yeah.
Before you jump ahead, someone attempts to assassinate Hitler.
Yeah.
Do you arrest him or give him tips on how to do better the next time?
I think you tip him.
Unfortunately, back in that day, he probably died.
Yeah.
So,
Hung.
yeah, something horrible. Wow, I learned.
Whew.
I learned some.
I feel smarter.
There you go.
It's the bet of the week.
No, it's not. No, it's not. There is nothing to bet on. We could do paper, rock, scissors, something like that.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Paper, rock.
It was so funny. Mike's
What?
like, Greg, find some games. I actually found 3 Australian rules football, so rugby games. 3 hours later, they were postponed.
Yep.
It's a way to find the
Gone.
goods,
So
Greg.
the reason I did talk about the sports bets was to give you a leadership update. Obviously, your boy Mike Reeves is in first after going 1-1 2 weeks ago. I went 2-0 last week for a 3-1 record. And these two fellas are tied at 2-2.
I gotta learn
So-
more about MMA.
We will be betting when we can bet.
Everything's better with money on the line.
It is.
Oh. Great, I can grab another L. God. I hate losing.
It's time for Twist Games.
Oh my god.
Bring it.
So,
Yeah.
I have 3 to choose from. Stop cheating,
I'm not
GBG.
cheating.
He's not cheating. You watched his eyes go down in
We
my
got
paper.
proof.
Damn Packer fans cheating.
I'm practically blind. I can't see.
So, we got 3 games.
Yeah.
One y'all know and love, back to back.
Sure.
Another newest one
Oh god, he went Terminator.
is Who Am I?
Yeah.
And a brand new game is Rapid Fire. So I'm going to let these two guys.
Rapid fire. It's a no-brainer.
We're gonna go rapid fire.
Might as well,
Rapid
right?
fire.
Okay.
Rapid
So
fire.
Rapid Fire is very easy. The questions aren't too bad at all.
Sure. Yeah.
I have to read the whole question, and the first one to chime in.
With the answer or with our name?
Oh my God.
Jesus.
You chime in with your name, and then you give me the answer.
Go.
Greg's starting -1 for that.
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
Don't forget about Doge.
Rapid fire. Don't forget about Doge. You're right. CBD Twist over there, he's the one who gets the answer correct when these two idiots failed to get it.
Aren't you gonna write down the score
Right.
so you don't piss off your dad?
I forgot to grab a pen, so I will just remember.
I'll remember my stuff.
Question number 1. What is the term for 0 in tennis?
Greg,
Greg.
love. Boom!
There it is, and he is excited.
Way to go. Way to go, Greg.
Greg up, 1-0.
Okay.
Question number 2.
Yep.
What do they wear on their head in football?
Greg,
Matt.
Greg.
helmet.
Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I've been up since midnight here.
Oh,
Right.
so is Greg.
Yeah.
No,
I
not
was slinging
true.
bread with you.
I let him sleep till like 4:30.
Question number 3.
Yeah.
How many points is a free throw?
Matt.
Greg,
Matt.
1. Let's go, baby.
get at that one.
All
Let's
right.
go.
We got 2 GBG, 1 Benz. Question number 4.
Yeah.
How much is a Field goal.
Matt.
Correct.
Matt.
3.
Rapid fire.
It's
We have a
rapid fire.
2-2 tie. Come on, Doge. I wore my shirt for you.
Let's go, baby.
So there weren't any games going on with this, but a term for rugby players trying to gain possession of the ball.
Correct.
Greg.
Scrum.
Yeah, I didn't know that one. Good job, Greg. Good job. I didn't know it.
Blue 42 is from what sport?
Matt.
Greg.
Football.
That'd be a 4-2
Yep. Go
lead.
ahead.
We got
Rapid
4
fire.
questions
It's rapid
to go.
fire for a reason here.
Charge the Mound is from what sport?
What?
Charge the Mound is
Matt.
from Matt.
Baseball. We both didn't hear.
4-3. Fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Foul.
Correct.
Greg.
Ball.
5-3 with 2 questions. With 2 questions to
I need to run the
go.
table.
2 questions to go for a tie.
Yeah.
And ties go to Doge.
Oh, here we go.
How does a basketball game start?
Greg.
Greg.
Tip. Jump ball.
Tip, jump ball. That's the answer.
Tip the ball and jump
No,
ball.
you
tip
said
the ball.
tip, jump ball.
Yeah.
That's the answer?
It's a jump ball.
But you tip the ball to your teammate.
Hogwash. You
That's
can
a
take the
wrong
W.
answer. 3 strikes and you're...
Out.
Greg. Out.
Doesn't matter. I got it.
Nope, you didn't. Greg got it.
Boom. Horse shit. Horse shit.
So
The
Matt's,
fans at home, I'm irate.
Matt's favorite game to date is rapid fire.
I don't think I've ever lost a game against
It's all right. Yeah, we tied, so I don't want to hear it. Not to mention, my mom still loves me. So
Your mom loves
get
me
in
too.
line. Get in line.
Your mom loves me too.
I'm the apple of her eye.
And apparently I'm ugly to her.
Yes.
No. Oh, Mike. Oh.
Just not as handsome.
Go ahead. I'm going first here.
Yeah, he's all fired up.
Fired up.
Sports rant.
Rant of the week. Get your life together. All right. So my rant is going to be on the clown. Jadavian Clowney. All right.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I know Austin wanted to hear about
Yeah,
it.
here
Good.
you
It's
go,
my
Austin.
rant this week.
Here's the rant.
Should the Vikes pursue him if you can get him for the low? But my rant isn't about that, Austin. It's about him. All right, so let me give you a little rundown here for the viewers, for the listeners, all of you. Clowney has been and still may be seeking a $20 million annual salary. Okay? The dude had 3 sacks last year.
Thank you.
Oh, Mom, I'm trying to get fired up right now, and you're chiming in. All right, so Seattle is likely proposing something in the range of 17 to 19 per year, okay? But the problem is this the coronavirus,
Coronagate.
and he can't get his physical. So that has a lot to do. Not only did he not put up a lot of numbers last year, and you're a game changer, Clowney. You're a game changer. But you can't expect to be paid for stats that weren't there last year. Okay, that goes with anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it gets me worked up, but now I'm not as worked up because my mom's face was on the screen, and I love you, Mom. So that's my rant for the week.
All right, Greg.
All right, my rant is okay. So Carlos Cordero resigned as president of the United States Soccer Federation.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Okay, hold on. Why? Because it came out that this jackass
There he is.
actually said that men deserve to be paid more than women because there's more responsibilities to being a man, and he's talking about United States Soccer. Listen,
You suck, you jackass.
listen, you jackass. I can't name one soccer player that's male over the past 30 years. I can name probably 2-3 dozen women.
Who?
The women deserve
Name them.
the women deserve twice as much money as the men. They're the ones who bring the popularity to the sport. They show up at the World Cup, and the United States women win. You know why the men don't win? Because they don't even qualify. I'm done. But do you know what? Good riddance. I hope you don't ever work again, not even in soccer, anywhere.
I hope you get the Rona.
That's a little harsh.
Wow.
Tell him.
Whew.
I'm worked up right now.
Yeah, he is. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not as fired up about my rant, but I am pissed. It brings me back. So last week,
He's about to.
Just let me light you here.
last week,
There you
2K announced they were coming back to sports games.
Yeah.
What they didn't announce is they were coming back like they used to back in 2005. So I'm an avid Madden guy. Love Madden.
You talk about video games?
Jesus, here we go.
Yeah, I am
Greg!
talking about video games, sports video games, football video games. So I grew up Madden, and then 2K came out. 2K was fantastic.
Beautiful.
They had Chris Berman.
Yeah.
They had their own crib.
Da-da-da.
The gameplay was just outstanding.
Yeah.
And Madden came out and monopolized the video game world and stole it from
Yeah.
2K. So now, current day, today,
Yeah.
last week actually, 2K announced that they're going to be coming back, but it's more going to be NFL Blitz and some of that kind of
Sure.
shit.
NFL or NHL hits.
What they need to do is they need to get back on the video game simulation market and take Madden by storm.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Sorry I put you to sleep there,
You're
Greg.
very feng shui right now. You're more irate at Greg than you are at 2K.
Well, I am.
Yeah, happy.
I've never played a video game in my life.
Get your life together.
You never played Pong? Super Mario?
Put your hands together for the
Pac-Man.
twist topics of the week.
We're twisting.
This should be interesting.
Twist it up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the twist topics.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Twist topic number 1.
Let's talk about the quarterback carousel.
Sure.
TB to TB.
Yeah.
Rivers to Colts.
Yeah.
Foles to Chicago.
What?
Who will have the better season?
I think just because of weapons, Tommy Brady. I think that he's got two amazing running back, two amazing wide receivers. Might have a third. I think that their defense is going to give them a lot of opportunities to have the ball a lot more. And I don't know. I just think that he has the best chance. I think that the Bears offense is a lot more than just Trubisky sucking. I don't think they have a whole lot of weapons. And I think that, unfortunately, Rivers is just a little, his age is going to catch up to him, and they don't have a lot of weapons there either. So I think it's Tommy.
So I'm going to go next. I'm going to surprise you all because I don't even like this guy, but I think he's going to have the best year, and that's Crimea River, Phillip Rivers. The reason being, and this is a hot take, like I said, I hate the dude, but
Hate him.
I think that he will have the best season.
He doesn't even swear.
Focus because of that offensive line. With these guys out of the three, that Colts offensive line is the best out of all three. And I think you give him some actual time, just like any NFL quarterback. I hate when people say this, but if he has time, he'll be great. Well, come on. They made Brissett look decent. Imagine what they can do with Phillips. So that's my take.
Did I not clearly explain the circle of trust to you, Greg?
I'm going with Ben's.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Colts are just a better team. Yeah, he's got some weapons. Greg's thing was, he's got two really good receivers and maybe three. Who's your maybe?
What's that?
Perriman?
Oh, my God.
Come on!
Give me a break. Maybe three.
Twist topic number 2.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins was signed to a 2-year extension. Was this the right move?
Yes, if you're a Packer fan. It was an awesome move for the Packers. No, in all honesty, it's all they could do because you're not going to bring a quarterback that you have that much money invested in on a lame duck season. You had to sign him up for another year. It's a good thing they didn't give him 100% guaranteed again because they found out that was the wrong thing to do. But now it's going to give you a chance to, if you want to, groom another quarterback or make him prove himself. But as a Packer fan, great move.
Since it's unlikely that the team would cut Cousins after one season and still owe him $61 million, the deal is effectively fully guaranteed. Dumbass.
Effectively.
Go ahead.
Effectively means it.
is.
So anyways.
Right. So it is fully guaranteed.
All right, guys. Skull Bikes is right. So I like the move because I'm a Kirk guy. Kirk earned my trust. I agree with it. I've been talking about that since then. Greg, if you think it's great for the Pack, that's awesome. Wait until you don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Deal with it.
I was
also,
like 13 the last time that happened.
Yes, exactly. So
30
you're
years
spoiled. So for your input on this is hogwash. So then let's bring into effect Ryan Tannehill just got $118 million.
He deserved it.
How?
Took his team
What did he do?
Took his team to the NFC Championship.
Give that money. He didn't do anything.
He handed the ball out 40 times a game.
He threw the ball. I'm spitting. He threw the ball 10 times a game, Greg.
That was Garoppolo.
No.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyways, he got $118 million, and the running back that got them there didn't even get paid. He got tagged. So I don't want to hear it that Kirk doesn't deserve what he got. He deserves it because who else is there? We can't just draft. It's not going to happen.
Get Cam.
Oh my God. Now you want to – at least Kirk's durable. Boom. Mic drop.
Well, he deserves it because he got it, but that wasn't the question. The question was it the right move? And it was absolutely not the right move.
Boom.
He was guaranteed his money this year. We did not have to sign him to an extension.
Right.
We've made other moves to free up money to make moves.
Yes.
You ride it out this year and then in the offseason, if you want to keep him, if the GM and the coach are still in those seats, then you talk. Because like I said before, he's not going to sign anything but a fully guaranteed contract, and that's what he did again. So no, it was not the right move. Now you have to wait at least 3 years to get the guy you want. Is he a good quarterback? Absolutely. Yep. But like Joe said, over the last 5 years, he's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And no, he doesn't deserve that. God.
But he got it.
But he got it.
Yeah.
Twist topic number 3.
I love it.
Diggs, Stefan, was traded to the Buffalo Bills. Good luck. Bring your parka, bud.
Bye, Felicia.
Was this the right move?
Honestly, if you're a Viking fan, I think you guys love this. You guys got a haul for him.
Yes.
And and the thing is I agree with you guys. He's a great downfield threat. He's one of the top. But in this draft, you can find a guy who's going to be another threat. Not to Diggs' level more than likely, but for what you got for him, you can replace him.
We got BC.
Oh, God.
Like that?
No.
Give me some BC. Yeah, so just while we were talking to our interviewers, or our interviews, how would you say that?
Interviewees.
There we go. I unfollowed him. Bah! So Diggs.
Wow.
Unfollowed him. Why do I want to see you asking people on Twitter today, you need some Hulu and Netflix suggestions? Get bent, bro. You were nothing but a diva. You had the miracle. I appreciate that. That's awesome. That was a great memory. But you're just a drama king. Holy cow. Great move. Love the haul. It's going to be great to win without.
What I like better than the move is where we sent him.
Yeah.
Joe was talking about it too, and Paul Charchians came out and said it. They're a run-first team.
Yeah. Josh
Allen is not a good, accurate quarterback.
Correct.
So have fun. It's 3 hours from New York. It's freezing. Yeah. You suck. You deserve it. We're gonna draft your brother just so you got to come back here on Christmas. You punk. It. Yeah,
I don't think they will now.
We will.
I don't think so.
See ya.
Bye.
Get out of my face.
Next.
Twist topic number 4.
On a lighter note, Todd Gurley signed a 1-year deal with the ATL.
Good for you.
He's going home. Do you like the length? And is this a good fit?
Back several years ago, Drew Rosenthal said about Terrell Owens, the best thing that a guy like him can do is continuously sign 1-year contracts. I think that Gurley doing this right now is perfect. He gets a whole lot of money signing up front year to year. And if he's going to stay healthy, he's going to actually make more money probably in the long run by signing these 1-year contracts. I think for the Atlanta, good move. You got rid of Freeman. You needed someone to fill that spot, and he's going to get some money. It's going to be over a longer period of time, but if he stays healthy, he'll get it paid back. He'll get it back.
That's the problem, though.
Nobody cares.
Right. And on that point, he won't stay healthy. That's the problem with Gurley, and that's why he, changed the game for running backs. Is Unfortunately, most of them won't stay healthy. Dude's got arthritis in his knee already.
Bone to bone.
Bone to bone. Bro's riding on rims, man. So, I mean, that's the problem. Good for him to go home. That's probably the safe bet. Plus, he's still going to get paid from the Rams this year. So, he's made out.
He's getting a fat paycheck.
Fat paycheck. He's still one of the top paid running backs, and he didn't even get a whopper in the 1-year deal. So, I mean, yeah, good for him. Smart move on his part. Atlanta should use him. But, I mean, yeah, he's riding on rims.
Well, it's a great move on his part because he's not going to get anything more than a 1-year deal, especially with Coronagate going on. You're not able to travel for their doctors to be able to see you.
Right.
And number two, it is a good fit for Atlanta because over the past 2 years, he has 29 rushing touchdowns.
Right.
Now, they'd be smart if they spend a day 2 pick on a running back and not drive too much on those rims, as Ben likes to say.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, he's physical. He just can't be your every down, 3-down back anymore.
Nope.
You know, so I do like it. And, you know, like Layla says,
My daddy knows it all.
yes, I do. Thank you, sweetheart.
Oh, my.
Quiz topic number 5.
Big three.
So the big three are planning a reality TV style tournament under quarantine.
Yeah.
Now, fellas, this would be kind of,
Big
basketball
Brother.
meets Big Brother.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Are you going to watch? Do you think it'll happen?
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of ego in one house.
That's all right.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
think
great.
I think it'd be fun because you can kind of see what these guys are like. I mean, because the agent who was on with us earlier was talking about there's so many professional athletes who don't spend their money accurately. Well, that intelligence level, with some cases, doesn't just extend just to finances.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are intellectually a little bit,
They're dumb. They're thugs. They're
Yeah.
stupid.
Jeez,
So, yes,
that's
I wanna-
not true.
I want to see it.
Oh, my God. You can't
I'm in.
say
Sign
stuff
me up.
like that.
I did.
Sign me up. Prove Mike wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah. They haven't had to focus on other things like learning.
I absolutely want it. They're going to be in they
Be
won't,
great.
but they're going to be in like a bomb shelter. What they should do is make them eat like dog food.
Oh, I don't
Like
know
Survivor
about that.
style?
Yeah.
But it's, the fear
Survivor meets Big Brother meets Big Three.
Holy cow. Just give us something to watch on television.
Oh,
Jeez.
good Lord. We will take sports, any type of sports,
Yeah.
something we can bet on.
Yeah.
Please help. Oh, what a great episode.
I love it.
Episode 16 is in the books.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Corona won't keep us back from seeing y'all next week.
We'll see you.
Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to all 3 of our guest interviews.
Yeah.
The Weekend Sports Talk,
Smash the share.
RTF Sports
Smash
Network.
it. Share it.
Share it. Let's
Share it.
go. TwistSportsTalk.com.
Out.
See you later.